For over a century, each November 11th, New Yorkers have gathered on Fifth Avenue to celebrate and honor our brave veterans. Under the United War Veterans Council, the parade has grown into the largest Veterans Day event in the nation. A world-class commemoration that salutes and spotlights America's heroes. This year, we mark the 30th anniversary of Desert Storm, as well as mark 20 years since the 9/11 attacks and the global war on terror. Today's featured service branch is the U.S. Air Force, which since the earliest days of flight has defended this country in air, space, and now cyberspace. Join us as ABC 7 salutes these courageous Americans and all who have served as we bring you the 102nd New York City Veterans Day Parade. Welcome to New York City Veterans Day Parade. What a thrill to bring it back to New York as we honor our veterans. I'm David Navarro.
And I'm Michelle Charlesworth. And ABC 7 is proud to bring this annual event to you live from Fifth Avenue. We're right next to the flag. Gorgeous. This year we have people from all over the country, nearly 200 marching units, including veteran groups, service providers, military units, student veterans, veteran employee groups, and more.
Is that not an amazing sight right there? You know, in recognition of this year's featured military branch, the United States Air Force, our national anthem will be performed by Staff Sergeant Melissa LaCour. Let's listen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Such a beautiful rendition. You know, applause all around. This parade means so much to so many people, and it would not be possible without the efforts of the United War Veterans Council. They work tirelessly throughout the year to support our veterans and to produce this inspiring event.
Our 2021 parade Grand Marshal, Air Force veteran and local hero Kevin Carrick is on the red carpet right now to get things started. The mayor of the city of New York, the Honorable Bill de Blasio.
Welcome, everybody, to the 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade. The parade is back in full force. New York City is back. It is a great day. This is the largest parade in the United States of America. And this year we feature and salute the Air Force. Thank you, General Brown, and thank you to all the members of the Air Force. Today, we pay tribute to the men and women who serve us in the armed forces and everyone who has down through the ages. My parents served in the World War II effort, as did my wife's parents. We know what it means to honor those who are there for us. We have also seen in our family the cost of war and all that our veterans have to carry with them, which means this. On Veterans Day, we not only praise our veterans, we need to support our veterans. We created the Department of Veteran Services in New York City to make sure veterans have the help they need. So everyone, if you know a veteran who needs help, if you know a veteran who needs mental health support, if you know a veteran who's homeless, if you know a veteran who needs a job, reach out that hand and help. Hire a veteran. It will be the best thing you ever do because they bring so much to all of us. Everyone today, New York City stands united support of our veterans. Thank you for all in the armed forces you have done to see us through COVID. We are indebted to all of you. And now, Mr. Grand Marshal, in recognition of your extraordinary service to this nation, we thank you. Fifth Avenue, sir, is yours.
To let you know what this is, it's giant. It is the 16th year that they are participating in the parade. It's 60 feet by 30 feet, and it weighs 90 pounds.
Yeah, you know, it was donated by Valley Forge Flags of Pennsylvania, and many of you know it was displayed on 1 Liberty Street, known also as Brooke Brothers Building, on September 22nd, 2001. Since then, the flag has been presented for various causes worldwide. The original flag was retired in 2011 when the name was changed to the volunteer flag to honor the original flag.
And again, these are the volunteers who work at the 9/11 Memorial Museum. Every single person holding that flag has a story.
Oh, it's just awesome to see. So much to bring to you right now. You know, today's parade is such an awesome kind of event that now we're looking at the NYPD mounted units. NYPD has used horse-mounted officers since at least 1858 with the opening of Central Park. Did you know that?
They're known by their nickname 10-foot cops. You know, they get 4 to 5 weeks to learn how to ride a horse if they've never ridden. It's pretty incredible. New York City has over 60 horses trained to patrol the city.
Yeah, all the horses go through extensive training to become police horses. At Police Horse School located at Pelham Bay Park. I know your daughter loves riding horses.
She's an equestrian.
Right now, she's all attention on us.
All about it. All about it. Fantastic. You hear that? I hear some music.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
That would be the NYPD band, right?
Yes. The American Police Band that serves under the New York City Police Department.
Right. Force we're still looking at the horses here, and it just it's wonderful to see. But we got the best seat in the house as we look at the flag again. It's just an amazing. You know, we approximately have 19 million U.S. veterans, representing less than 10% of the total U.S. adult population right now. And now we take you over to the band.
They've got 70 members, and it's all everybody you're looking at is part of the NYPD ceremonial unit.
Yeah, the band's motto: serve, protect, and entertain. I like that. I like the priorities.
It's fantastic. We have perfect weather for this.
I know we do.
Couldn't have been better.
Thank everybody. It's just, who doesn't love a parade, by the way, you know?
That's right. If you have friends across the country, we're streaming this, so make sure you watch for that. And tell them they can watch us anywhere.
You know, so much of this is support, so much of this is honor, so much of this is remember, and so many here are Gulf-era veterans, because they account for the largest share of all U.S. veterans right now. Can you hear that in the background, Michelle?
I think I can. It's loud. I love it. Let's listen.
That is the American Legion Post 460 New York City Police Post. Let's listen in. We have so much in store during today's parade. Covering much of it, the action down there, Fifth Avenue for us. Two members of our team, of course, Sifan Kim, who's a veteran himself, and reporter Elise Zwick. Some of you might remember her as the host of the New York Islanders. Hey, gang, how's it looking down there?
Well, David and Michelle, as you know, it's always a special honor for me to be part of this parade because, as you guys know, I'm an Army veteran myself, Army Reserves. In 2000, I enlisted. I did my basic training at Fort Lindenwood, Missouri, a.k.a. Fort Misery. It certainly lived up to its name. I did my AIT at Fort Lee, Virginia, and in 2003, mobilized at Fort Drum up in New York and separated as an E5. I asked the viewers today to forgive my voice, but I would not miss this parade for the world. And with that being said, I'm going to power through and soldier on and hand it off to my battle buddy here on the ground, the always lovely Elise Zwick.
Thank you so much, Stefan, and thank you so much for your service. Happy Veterans Day, everyone. I'm Elise Zwick, Veterans Advocate and spokesperson of the United War Veterans Council. It's an absolute honor to be back here on Fifth Avenue in full force, honoring service, especially after last year's unprecedented events. This parade means the world to me. My grandfather was a World War II veteran. He marched in this parade with me. We volunteered in the community. My Uncle Johnny, an Air Force veteran, the year of the Air Force here at the parade, and my Uncle Joe served in the Army. So, Army, military, I love you. We are here supporting you. And with that, this parade would not happen without our wonderful sponsors. And I got a chance to speak with J.P. Morgan Chase's Mark Elliott, a longtime sponsor of the New York City Veterans Day Parade. Let's take a look. J.P. Morgan Chase is a longtime sponsor of the New York City Veterans Day Parade. Why is celebrating our military veterans so important to your organization?
So supporting veterans in the military is woven into the fabric of J.P. Morgan Chase, and it's just how we do business. We owe these individuals our gratitude for protecting our country, and we need to do our part to support them as they transition to civilian life after service. The New York City Veterans Day Parade is particularly special to us because this city is the global headquarters of J.P. Morgan Chase. We're honored to employ veterans and service members across the tri-state area.
You served in the Army for nearly 3 decades. What do you think is the biggest issue facing our veterans as they transition to civilian life today?
This year, we saw the end of U.S. operations in Afghanistan and the 20th anniversary of 9/11. For many veterans, these events were challenging to witness. It's more important than ever that we provide programs and services to support veterans and help them thrive after service. At J.P. Morgan Chase, we focus on career readiness, skill building, supporting veteran-owned small businesses, and financial health for military families. All of these efforts aim to empower veterans to reach their potential in the post-military service lives.
J.P. Morgan Chase is celebrating a milestone this year. It's the 10th anniversary of the Military and Veterans Affairs program. What have you accomplished, and what's next?
We're proud of the impact we've had. We've hired more than 16,000 veterans across all lines of business. We've co-founded the Veterans Job Mission, which has grown to 250-plus companies with more than 750,000 veteran hires. We funded access to capital, incubator efforts and business training for veteran entrepreneurs, integrated veteran-owned businesses into our global supply chain. We're proud to support veterans in our communities through events like this parade and our Military Home Awards, which has donated nearly 1,100 mortgage-free homes to veterans across the country. We're constantly adapting to the most pressing needs of the military community and will continue to do so going forward.
Mark, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Oh, so great to hear about that. Please share your patriotism today on social media today. Very easy hashtag, hashtag NYC Vets Day, NYC Vets Day, so that we can see each other on social media. And also, we have a very special Veterans Day greeting from the Commander-in-Chief, President Joe Biden.
On Veterans Day, we remember all those whose service has made our lives, our liberty, and our very nation possible. Generation after generation, Americans have answered the call to serve, putting their lives on the line and making extraordinary sacrifices to defend our most cherished democratic values. Our son, Bo, was a major in the United States Army who served a year in Iraq. Like so many of you, he was proud of the women and men with whom he served. He often talked about their acts of valor and heroism that took place every day. Our nation has many obligations, but we have only one truly sacred obligation: to properly prepare and equip those who we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they come home. And my administration is going to meet that obligation. As the English poet John Milton once wrote, "They also serve who only stand and wait." So today, we also recognize the incredible strength of those who stand alongside our veterans, their families, their caregivers, and survivors. All of you who have served our nation, we can never fully repay the debt to you. But on Veterans Day and every day, we're a nation grateful for your valor and your commitment.
City's Veterans Day Parade live on ABC 7. You know, this year's parade is marking two significant anniversaries. The 20th anniversary of the global war on terror that started with the attacks on 9/11 right here in New York, and the 30th anniversary of the Operation Desert Storm, the first major foreign war for the United States after the end of the Cold War.
Nearly 700,000 U.S. troops took part in the war, including our first co-host for today, U.S. Marine Corps veteran and Executive Director of the United War Veterans Council, Mark Otto. Thanks for being with us. As always, great to see you.
And thank you.
It's a big day for us all, especially being a Desert Storm veteran. I actually had my commander who trained me 30 years ago, came up here, and he's right across the way. So,
got to see him.
Yeah, often but we're thrilled to be back. Veterans going up Fifth Avenue. This tradition has been around for 102 years, and it's just great to see people in person embracing this day, coming out and saying thanks to our veterans. It's amazing.
Right. Well, because of you, we have this parade. You put it on. It's fantastic, so thank you for that.
Well, I always say that there's only 4 people on the team for the United War Veterans Council, including myself. We moved 25,000 marches a year because of hundreds of volunteers from the community.
Yeah. We picked the perfect time for you to interview you when the bikes show up, you know? How about that? the sound on those engines. I love it. I love it.
Oh, my heavens. That's so good.
So actually, the chairman of the WABC is a biker.
This, by the way, is the New York City Fire Riders, if you're curious. They're the retired FDNY motorcycle club established in 1985. I want to just get back to you, Mark, real quick. You know, right now, Go For veterans, Go For era veterans account for the largest share of U.S. veterans right now. That's interesting.
Yeah, 700,000 of us, so it's amazing when you think about it. There was a literal line in the sand. We massed our troops and we went against the fourth largest army in the world. So, you know, we haven't had anything like that since. Hopefully we won't again. But it was an epic thing to see unfold and be a part of.
What's it like to see all this patriotism, all the flags, everybody unified?
I tell you, after Desert Storm, actually the ticker tape parade that occurred after that was one of the biggest parades in New York City history. So I always reflect back on that. And these parades and these people coming out and cheering their veterans is just a mirror of what America feels like about our veterans and the service and sacrifices they do for our country.
It's also important that we talk about support for veterans, and that's
Absolutely.
so much of what you're involved in, isn't it?
Yeah, so 5 years ago I founded the United War Veterans Council Health and Wellness Program. Michelle, you actually came out and did some miles with us.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, so we do social fitness with the rucking to get some miles in. People can talk as they're carrying the weight on their back and burning some calories. But we also have evolved, and we do sailing, we do art therapy, equine therapy, horseback riding. And it's been going on every Wednesday for the past 5 years. And we couldn't be doing that without all of our partners that also want to be a part of what we're doing for veterans.
There are a lot of corporate partners that you have that supply, local ones in New Jersey. I know when we were down in Highlands, Jersey Mike's had some sandwiches for the folks, but it makes a huge difference.
It really is. The community gets involved, and I think that's a big part of the success because it's awesome for the veterans to do these type of therapeutic things. But when the community gets involved, and like John Bon Jovi's Soul Kitchen is like serving dinner for us, or like you said, the local Jersey Mike's, or one of these other restaurants that wants to just jump on board and be a part of it. It's amazing to see.
I just want to mention, we're looking at the parade route, of course, right now. I just saw Governor Hochul getting ready to march up Fifth Avenue. She's with the New York State Police, established in 1917. They consist, right now, about 5,000 sworn and non-sworn members throughout the state. I love this wide shot of everything that's going on. But I want to get back to you, Mark, about, support. And I saw this stat and it just fascinated me. Americans continue to see veteran service as an important priority. 72% of U.S. adults said that if they were making the federal budget, they would increase spending for veterans benefits and services. The highest share of all 13 program areas included in the survey, tied with education.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, back when I was getting out right after Desert Storm, I served 88 to 92. I fought in Panama, I fought in Desert Storm, and did a couple other things. But when I got out, there weren't near as many veteran support organizations as there are today. Right now, there's tens of thousands of veteran support organizations. Again, that sort of reflects how people feel about our veterans and wanting to support them.
I'm going to go now to a veteran who you know very well, and that is a very special guest, Eddie Ray. He is our 2019 Grand Marshal Emeritus and U.S. Marine Corps veteran who earned one of the only 2 Navy Crosses awarded during Operation Desert Storm. Let's hear a little bit more about his story.
Behind the palm trees was a oil field, and it was on fire.
Couldn't believe what the visibility was like.
You had the flames coming out of the ground. You see this Humvee. This guy's driving back towards us, screaming. They're out there.
I was pretty scared at that point. We are in a mess up here you can't believe. And I think we're dead here. This is something,
And so we attacked him right there.
Eddie knew football. Eddie was an athlete himself. Eddie's on the horn saying, we need all the help we can get right now. One chopper was right over my vehicle, and I'm telling you what, I looked up, I thought it was God.
We went straight down their formation, attacking each vehicle.
They just kept pounding them.
Near the end, you could see the people jumping out of their vehicles. Our 8 vehicles, we destroyed more than 50 of them.
And the ultimate thing for a Marine leader is to take men to combat and bring them home.
And joining us now is Mr. Eddie Ray. Hoorah to you, sir. Thanks for being here.
How are you today?
I'm good. Well, my father was a ROK Marine. He always taught me, once a Marine, always a Marine. So thank you for being here. I have a question for you. You're so heavily involved in serving the veterans community, including as co-founder of Veterans and Athletes United. Can you tell us more about that extraordinary work that the VAU has done, sir?
I'm sorry?
The extraordinary work that the VAU has done.
Well, first off, I want to let you know I personally appreciate the opportunity to represent the Marines who served in Desert Storm, because what has in fact happened is I'm just a player on a team, and I consider it the championship team. They did an extraordinary job in Desert Storm that if not for the rest of the Marine team, I wouldn't even be here. I'm totally humbled by this magnificent parade. I'm totally in awe of all the logistics and coordination that it takes to put something like this together, and they do it. This is just spectacular, and I'm humble. I'm sure just for the opportunity for veterans to be recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Edward, for joining us. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you, Stefan. On the red carpet right now, we have a special performance by the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard and the U.S. Air Force Heritage of America Band. It's comprised of active duty members, and we're so honored to have them with us today with a performance set to their official song, the U.S. Air Force.
I can bring you out here. I have that authority. Like I yelled out. I'm in charge, man. Stay right. I don't want the other game. Oh, got it. Yeah, I got it.
U.S. Air Force drill team there for you. Well, you're watching the 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade on ABC 7. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 2021 New York City Veterans Day Parade. I'm joined here by Michelle Charles-Gross. What a great day we're having. You know, financial services company Fiserv not only supports veterans through its sponsorship of today's parade, but also through its Fiserv Salutes U.S. Military and Veterans Engagement Program that provides the military community with career opportunities, education, resources, and business solutions for veteran-owned businesses. Here to tell us more is Navy veteran, military spouse, and Senior Vice President and Head of Global Corporate Citizenship at Fiserv, Vivian Greentree.
Great to be here today.
Good to have you with us.
Hey, just tell us about the support that you offer to veterans and how important that is.
Listen, we know the talent that comes out of the military, all the branches, even though I'm a Navy veteran. And we want that on our teams because we know that people choose who they work with, work for, do business with based on their values. And we value the talent that comes out of the military community. We know it's the best the country has to offer, and we'll be better for it.
Absolutely. Fiserv has several other programs to support the military community at large. Please tell us about some of those.
So we're really excited about our Back to Business program, investing $50 million into small, diverse businesses. We know that the military community is the most diverse cohort in the country, and that, again, the talent that comes out of there when they start businesses, it's good business to do business with veterans and military spouses. We've given out grants over the last year and have also, we want to impact the entire ecosystem. So whether you want to work with us, work for us, start a business with us, we just want to meet the military community where they're at.
You know, Vivian, small businesses, including those owned by veterans, have really faced challenges throughout this pandemic. How has Fiserv helped them address these issues?
So certainly the access to capital, but I think it's more your network is your net worth, and we all know that Main Street drives Wall Street, which is only a few blocks away. And so Fiserv, as the largest fintech on the planet, we like to think the best, has a unique opportunity to not just give grants in the form of money, but also for the entire ecosystem and the community groups, the resource providers, the aggregators, the incubators across the country, so that we're meeting small businesses where they are. So not so that they will just survive, but that they will thrive and come through COVID even stronger than they were before.
So great to know that you are out there supporting veterans and taking advantage of this incredible skill set, right, in the private sector. Thank you so much.
Vivian Greentree from Fiserv.
Thanks for being with us.
And thank you for your services.
Yes.
We're back now, and this is, I believe, the U.S. Air Force New York City recruiting team, the recruitment wing of the Air Force. Of course, the Air Force is the service branch that's being honored in this particular parade.
And right now, they're also recruiting the newest branch of the Army, the Space Force. It's been around since December 2019, one of 9 recruiting squadrons. Air Force Recruiting is currently releasing an 8-part docu-series on basic military training on YouTube, so check that out with new episodes weekly. It all began in October.
Very cool, very cool. We just want to thank you for joining us on this, the 102nd New York City Veterans Day Parade. What a great day to honor, to show respect, and to show support to our military, men and women, to all the engagements that they've been in.
Isn't it great? Wasn't it great to see those black and white videos and pictures from a century ago?
I hang on every
right here
word.
On Fifth Avenue.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
All the stories they tell.
I'm telling you, unbelievable.
Well, we want to, remember, we're on social media as well, so if you can, express your pride in our veterans at hashtag NYC Vets Day.
We have already been posting, and we'd love to see your posts and your thoughts. We're coming right back in just a few minutes from Fifth Avenue. Ready?
On behalf of France, America's oldest ally, I wish to pay tribute to American veterans on this important day. France will never forget the sacrifices of the American heroes during World War I and World War II. They fought for our freedom. We are eternally grateful. We strongly value our partnership, and we stand ready to see it flourish in the years to come.
Veterans Day Parade live from New York City's 5th Avenue right now. You're looking at the J.P. Morgan Chase float, this year's 10th anniversary of the Office of Military and Veterans Affairs with J.P. Morgan Chase & Company. They focus on 4 areas in relation to veterans: business growth and entrepreneurship, careers and skills, financial health, community development. More than 1,000 mortgage-free homes have been awarded to military families through their Military Home Awards program, showing support here.
50,000 participants have enrolled in Onward to Opportunity, which is a free career training program of the Institute for Veteran and Military Families. More than 16,000 veterans and service members have been hired by J.P. Morgan Chase since 2011. Pretty smart. That's a great thing for them to do. In 2011, J.P. Morgan Chase co-founded the Veteran Jobs Mission, which is a coalition of 250 companies that are dedicated to employing talent from the U.S. military.
Right now, you're looking at the Military Order of the Purple Heart. Veterans who have been wounded during conflict, salute these folks. They focus on Purple Heart vets located in Manhattan, New York, particularly. 1991, I'm told Captain Antonio Rivera Jr. reactivated the Military Order of the Purple Heart. Chapter 3 in Manhattan, he petitioned to name the chapter the Colon Rivera Memorial Chapter in honor of 2 Puerto Rican heroes killed in action. This move sought to recognize the service of Latinos in the military. Amazing. Just thank you.
All right. And we are talking about the United War Veterans Council right now. Not only produces the parade that you're looking at right now, but also a range of health and wellness programming for veterans. We were talking about that just a little while ago. Let's take a closer look at the efforts that are making a huge difference.
We pontooned out from the Red Bank Marina down the Navesink River, 50 miles from the Samaritan Daytop villages in New York, where these U.S. veterans receive treatment and life skills to heal.
They have 2 live-in facilities. One's in Times Square, the other one's in Queens. So you can imagine just the white noise and the stressors that are involved with just being in New York. So to get them out here into the Red Bank area of New Jersey is just a wonderful thing for them.
Veteran Mark Otto knows that intimately, a Marine who faced combat in Panama and Desert Storm.
When I was in Panama, my first time in combat, I was 19 years old, 20 years old at Desert Storm, and I was like behind enemy lines, and I ran 2 counter-narcotics operations on the border of Mexico. So all that before I was 21, before I actually can go out and buy a drink.
It took a toll on his mental well-being. He had therapy at the VA for PTSD. It helped, but here in Red Bank,
I'm also sort of like the original guinea pig.
He found peace of mind on the river and at a local stable.
I was the first veteran to actually ride the horses and be a part of that program. So every sort of spoke on the wheel, these are all friends of mine that want to contribute and give back to veterans, which is a wonderful thing.
Mark quickly realized what these mini excursions were doing for his own heart, mind, and soul in healing. And of course, he knew that there were so many other people who could use that kind of peace. So he got to work. And here we are. Mark created the United War Veterans Council so that others could escape the white noise. This is chill therapy. This outing started on the river and ended with an hour of drawing at Annie-Art Academies in Red Bank, where classes are free to all veterans. It helps Army veteran Arthur Neebe choose peace over drinking.
Take care of yourself first, and that's what I'm doing. So when I get out and do these things, it's teaching me how to get back into the world without having to use alcohol.
Army veteran Douglas Jackson has turned away from substance abuse. He laughs more and lives easier.
One of the things was just to be brutally honest, you know, just to really be honest with myself about what's going on. And one of the things that were happening to me, like the depression and all that stuff, like to get to the source of that and address those things.
Health and wellness programs like this, Mark says, saves our veterans' lives.
Everyone always associates the 22 a day that we lose to veteran suicide. That number has actually dropped to, I believe the latest is 17. However, we have a long way to go to get to 0.
In Red Bank, Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And we'll hear more more about that later, but we want to bring you back to some live parade. The Coast Guard is here right now. It's the Academy Windjammers Drum and Bugle Corps, and some of the other members here. Also the United Coast Guard Station Kings Point on marching with them. Just wonderful to see this site with everybody helping out.
Not every day you have a boat going up Fifth Avenue.
Nope.
You are watching the 2021 Veterans Day Parade. Thank you for being with us here at Channel 7. We're coming right back in just a few moments.
The early morning hours of August 2nd, Iraqi armed forces invaded a peaceful Kuwait.
It was critically important for the U.S. to launch Operation Desert Shield.
In response to Saddam Hussein invading Kuwait, he had threatened that whole coast.
Those interests and those allies needed to be protected.
The fear was Saddam Hussein were going to move into Saudi Arabia. We just couldn't let that go unresponded to, for lack of a better term.
We went in there with a defensive mission, fully with the intent that we were going to kick Iraq out of Kuwait.
Welcome back to the 102nd New York City Veterans Day Parade. We are here on Fifth Avenue, and I have a very special guest with me now, Captain Zita, Merchant Commander of the U.S. Coast Guard. How does it feel to be here on Fifth Avenue?
It feels amazing, especially after this last year. To be able to be back here today is one of the things that we were looking forward to. And I'm so glad that my entire unit, our Coast Guard Academy, as well as our families have been able to be here and be a part of this today.
And what did that mean to you, seeing them walk by and recognizing their march?
It's just really a full sense of pride, not only for the Coast Guard, but all the other services represented today. And what we're doing today is honoring our veterans, all of those who came before us and served. That allows me to be here today and serve.
The Coast Guard was very involved in protecting our nation's shores after 9/11. What did that look like for New York City?
You know, 9/11 was really a watershed moment for us. So not only the coasties here that helped protect our port at that particular time, as you may know, we carry out the largest maritime evacuation in history, all the way today on 9/11, evacuating over 500,000 New Yorkers from Manhattan. And so that in itself, people often know us for search and rescue, but after 9/11, it really showcased not only us protecting the waters here in New York, in our nation, but around the world.
And what do you want to say to your units marching?
I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for those who continue to serve and those that will serve in the future. This is an amazing thing. One of the most important things you can do and most rewarding things you can do is serve your country, and I'm honored to do so.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Captain. Right now, you're looking at the T-Mobile team. These are T-Mobile Veterans and Allies Network. Is T-Mobile's internal employee resource group that advocates for both employee and customer veterans, active duty, and military family communities. T-Mobile puts service members first through employment initiatives, plans, discounts, and ongoing community investment and support.
I was just in one of their stores and they said, "Are you a veteran?" That's one of their first questions out of their mouth because they want to help you out. They're partners with Hiring Our Heroes, which finds meaningful employment opportunities for service members, gives them jobs, as well as veterans and spouses.
And right now you're looking at New York City's Vietnam PTSD group, a group of New York City-based Vietnam veterans who gathered to discuss their experiences. There are about between 20 and 50 vets that are marching right now as part of that.
Supporting one another in dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. We thank you for your service.
And again, so much of what we're doing is honor, respect, but support. Talking about resources and how important it is to all the vets out there.
Coming up behind them, we have the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 126 float as well.
Yeah, their mission is to ensure the appropriate recognition of military service, assist veterans in obtaining benefits, and provide service and leadership to our community. A nonprofit organization. It's dedicated to continued service to veterans in need of assistance. Again, we can't talk about assistance and support enough in a parade like this.
They provide services and support to veterans of all eras, including our newest generation of veterans from Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. Their slogan is never again will one generation of veterans abandon another.
Yeah, too often, and you know, if you're of a certain age, you know how difficult it was for the Vietnam veteran returning, and it's come a long way. I think a lot of people have come to understand and recognize what they went through and how we need to be there for them, as we do for anyone that puts their life on the line and decides to sacrifice for our country.
Thanks for being with us. We're at 29th Street and 5th Avenue on this gorgeous Veterans Day, this beautiful Thursday. Earlier today, our Grand Marshal, U.S. Air Force veteran Kevin Carrick kicked off the parade. Remember that? Now let's learn more about his incredible story.
Kevin Carrick has had a pretty cool life, thanks in part to the American military.
You just never knew when something was going to happen or when the phone was going to ring, and next thing you know, you're out in the middle of the ocean doing something, saving somebody's life.
Carrick of Riverhead officially joined the Air Force in 1978 at 19 years old with his father, a Korean War vet, at his side. Carrick decided to become a para-rescue man. Think Special Forces.
Our job is to really rescue anybody in any environment, any place on Earth.
Like when he and his team rescued 7 fishermen stranded in the ocean off Jamaica, or the time he helped rescue another group of fishermen who caught a live 20-foot World War II torpedo in their net.
It was decided by the Navy that they wanted to get everybody off the boat, and then they were going to sink the boat and detonate the torpedo.
Carrick performed a land mission on 9/11 and the days that followed, responding to Ground Zero to search for survivors. He then deployed to Iraq. Over the years, Carrick worked his way up to Senior Master Sergeant with the 106th Rescue Wing in West Hampton. He retired 18 years ago, but is being called back up for duty to serve as the Grand Marshal at the New York City Veterans Day Parade.
How's it feel?
Feels good. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a big day.
For Carrick, it's a big honor.
Veterans, they represent what's really good about America. To be able to be like their spokesperson is a big deal.
I'm sure he can handle the challenge. In Riverhead, Kristen Thorne, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And Mark Otto with the United War Veterans Council. You know him well.
Absolutely. We've got to know the folks out at the 106th Rescue Wing really well over the past couple of months, in particular with Kevin. But these true heroes, they're sort of like hidden gems. No one knows about them. They're all fully trained commandos, but they're also trained in advanced medical techniques, and they're all paramedics. So whether or not it's like Kevin was in the perfect storm. You ever see that movie? He was actually in that, jumping into the ocean, saving people. Wow. So that's the type of people that they are. You know, they have them all over the country. In Alaska, you know, they're taking care of rescues for small plane crashes. There's more planes in Alaska than there are cars. Right. So they're all across the U.S. They don't have to be in war for them to be activated. But when you're on a battlefield and you're taking heavy fire and bleeding out, the one person that you're praying for that's coming for you is a para-rescue man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and his story just one of so many of the people that are walking in this parade today, and one after another. You just wide-eyed and jaws open listening to the heroism involved.
Right, not hidden heroes today. They are out front.
We're doing them justice, and I'm glad to see that, because of PJs have been involved in almost every high-risk operation that hits the headlines that you heard about.
That's awesome. You know, today's ABC 7 broadcast is also being streamed at nycvetsday.org. You're watching the 2021 Veterans Day Parade live from New York's 5th Avenue. We're going to take a little break, and we will be right back.
Back to live pictures from 5th Avenue. This is the Wounded Warrior Project. Welcome back to the 102nd New York City Veterans Day Parade, broadcast live here on Channel 7. Our next guest, passionate about veterans and military issues, has seen through His work as chairman of Global Brokerage and head of the Veterans Initiative Program at Cushman and Wakefield. And here with us now is Bruce Mosler. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, Bruce.
Great to be with you again.
Real pleasure. You know, Cushman Wakefield, known for commitment to hiring veterans and military service members. So, you know, why hire veterans? Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, first of all, I want to begin by saying today's the day that we honor the half of the 1% that when our nation asks who shall go for us, who shall we send, always responds with send me, I will go. Why should we hire vets? Because they are coming from, first and foremost, the most diverse pool in the world. Secondly, because when you're hiring a vet, you're hiring someone who has leadership, someone who's an innovator, someone who knows how to collaborate. And in these days, work is all about collaboration. So you're hiring a veteran, let's be clear, not for charitable purposes. You're hiring because they're the best employee you can get. And generally speaking, I want to add, they perform at the highest standards overall in your workforce. They help you build a culture.
It's just a smart business move. Could you talk about some programs that Cushman and Wakefield has in place to recruit and to support veterans in the workforce?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to say that this year we're on our way to hiring 500 veterans. 2022 will mark the 4th consecutive year that we're going to achieve the level of being a military-friendly hirer of veterans. That's a standard that which we're very proud of. Look, we affiliate ourselves with a number of different institutions. We connect with the Institute for Veterans and for the IVMF, the Syracuse Institute for Veterans and Military Families. We work together with them to make sure that transitioning vets have a place to go, understand the workforce. We also work with DoD, the Department of Defense Skill Bridge program. Again, this is a program by the Department of Defense that helps transitioning veterans intern at different companies. And again, it gives the company a good look at the veteran, and it gives the veterans a good look at the company. And after all, and I want to make this point, it's very important, when you hire a veteran, you want to make sure you hire them into the right position, the right role, so that it is an enduring relationship for both parties.
You know, Bruce, we're looking right now at the Wounded Warrior Project and team as they march up the parade here. And before we let you go, any final words you want to add about being here today?
Look, this is a special day, and I love this excitement, enthusiasm. It is a day that we say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for those folks that put it on the line. They are unique. They are courageous. They are what makes America, America. And let's all remember, freedom isn't for free. At the end of the day, it needs to be defended. This is a democracy worth fighting for. These young men and women put it on the line.
And we appreciate them today.
Bruce Mosler, Cushman Wakefield, thank you for what you're doing for the veterans. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you both.
Live lookout on 5th Avenue right now. We have the best seat in the house, I got to say.
We do. You can hear the USA. And again, the Wounded Warrior team and the people that represent that, very large contingents here on this parade today. They have an independence program that provides long-term support to catastrophically wounded veterans living with injuries that impact independence. And this includes everything from brain and spinal cord injuries to neurological conditions. Really important work.
Taking a live look right now at the red carpet here on 5th Avenue, and we have more coverage from the 2021 Veterans Day Parade. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
As the government of Flanders, we pay our respect and want to show gratitude to those who fought in World War I and World War II. It was their sacrifice and hardship that made that we could remain free.
And welcome back to the 2021 Veterans Day Parade here in New York City, marching up 5th Avenue behind us, as you can see. And joining us now is Vice Admiral John Musty, Chief Navy Reserve. Thank you, sir, for being here with us. Very simple question for you, sir. Why is maintaining our naval force so critical to protecting the interests of our nation?
Well, that's a great question. First, I just want to acknowledge the great activity behind me. I mean, what a spectacular day. It's awesome to be here representing our Navy. But to your great question, look, the United States is a bi-coastal maritime nation. And there is no question that controlling the seas and ensuring the economic vibrancy of our nation is dependent upon naval service and our Coast Guard partners and our Marine partners. I mean, we are the naval services, the sea services. So it's critical for us to ensure that we can control the goods and services that flow across, on, and under the sea. So that's why our Navy exists.
And it is a gorgeous day, and it's good to be out here in person. But during the pandemic, the Navy and Navy Reserves, they played a significant role in helping New York, the city, come back from the pandemic. Tell our viewers what particular skills and characteristics that your sailors brought to that fight.
Well, thanks for asking that question as well. So we had several medical facility professionals on site in New York, both at the Javits Center and on USS Comfort, which we brought up, as you know, from Norfolk, as well as in groups of 10 in most of the city's hospitals. So we knew that by bringing medical professionals into the city, we were able to depressurize some of the constraints that we were seeing in and around our hospitals in the area. That's just one. We extended that not only to New York City, but frankly all across the country. And then more importantly, even recently, we've seen anti-terrorism force protection support where there was pressure with our, for instance, police forces.
Yes.
And then we sent 1,300 sailors into shipyards to help maintain our maintenance productivity while some of our shipyard civilians were impacted by COVID.
Thank you, and certainly New Yorkers all remembered that. So thank you again, sir. Vice Admiral John Mustin, back to you guys.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Stefan. I want to introduce the West Point Band to you now. Founded in 1817, the West Point Band is the Army's oldest continuously serving active duty band, tracing its roots to the Revolutionary War. Some of our nation's greatest military leaders, Grant, Pershing, MacArthur, Patton, all march to the music of this historic band.
They're joined today by vocalist Sergeant Major Mary Kay Messenger performing God Bless America.
What an incredible performance.
All right, check out this concrete truck. Way to mix it up. The Army black and gold. This is courtesy of West Point class of 1979. Bill Sandbrook, the company's former chairman, CEO. That's from Saddlebrook, New Jersey. Concrete truck in the black and gold.
This is from U.S. Concrete. Good for them. It's great to see.
Right? Mixing it up, baby.
You know, while we honor all the branches of the military here at today's parade, our featured branch is the United States Air Force. And earlier today, we had the honor of speaking with General C.Q. Brown Jr., the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. He is also notably the first African-American officer to lead a military service branch. General, it is so great to have you with us. Thank you for your service. I have to ask you, what comes to mind today as you think about America's 19 million veterans and families, and also the Gold Star families who have sacrificed so much?
Well, I think about our opportunity to serve our nation and what we've been able to do as veterans. But I also think about the outpouring that I see here in New York City, but not just in New York City, but really around America, that thanks our veterans, but just as importantly, thanks our Gold Star families that had a member of their family who served but did not make it home and paid the ultimate sacrifice. So I appreciate so much of the support I've seen in the time that I've been here in New York City.
Such a thank you to families today who have supported our service members. You served in a number of conflicts, including the Cold War, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Also, you come from a military family. Clearly, Veterans Day holds a special place in your heart. Talking about that just a second ago. Why is it so important that we all commemorate this day?
Well, our veterans are what all come together to provide us the freedoms that we all as Americans get a chance to enjoy. And so it's a chance to say thank you so much to our veterans. But I appreciate just to see so many people that come out today to support our veterans, all that wear the uniform or used to wear the uniform.
General, you know, it's been 20 years since 9/11, a day New Yorkers still remember and will never forget. Conflict that actually produced nearly 3 million veterans. And as we honor their service, what message do you have for them, in this particular here in New York?
Well, just like I've heard several times today, I'll just repeat what I've heard and what I've been told is thank you for your service. Thanks for raising your right hand and taking the oath of office and the oath of enlistment to be part of a great institution, the United States military, to defend the freedoms that so many of us enjoy.
General, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Enjoy.
All right.
Thank you,
well.
sir.
Thank you very much.
And we return to the parade right now, and you're watching the 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade in ABC 7. We'll be right back after these messages.
And welcome back to the 2021 NYC Veterans Day Parade as I compete with the marching bands behind me on this gorgeous day up Fifth Avenue. Joining us now is a man who I think can answer a lot of questions for a lot of our viewers because there is so much that you do. Welcome, Brigadier General Thomas Tickner. You are the Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers of North America. Easy question for you. A big question, though. What does the Army Corps of Engineers do here in the New York City area?
Yeah, so first off, it's such an honor to be here today representing the Army here in New York City. Great question. The Corps of Engineers, when COVID hit, we went out front and helped New York City finding alternate care facilities. Probably none better than the most famous is the Javits Center, but also all over. And luckily we made it through that time. But now we're working on lots of other things with the state and the city. Has to do with the remnants of Hurricane Ida that just blew through. But we're still doing the remnants of Superstorm Sandy. So we're building projects all up and down the coastline, trying to reduce the risk of the next storm when that hits.
Tell us a bit more about that, because I think a lot of folks don't realize Superstorm Sandy, you're still doing work there.
We are. We're still working out very, very strong at all these locations. Mainly you'll see us along the beaches in Rockaway. We just started a very big project from Fire Island to Montauk Point. And we're working in South Shore, Staten Island, too, among many, many others in the area.
And what should we know about what you're involved with Hurricane Ida?
Well, with Hurricane Ida, there's a supplemental bill that just came in. Some of that will come to New York State. And we're going to work with New York State to identify those projects. Whether we're already working on them, we'll try to speed those up, or we'll start some new projects and some new studies to talk about some of the other areas that have been problem flooding.
Well, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for being with us on this gorgeous day. Back to you guys.
Stefan, thank you so much. The flag you're looking at right now, the United War Veterans Council Garrison flag, it's meaning the Garrison flag is the largest national flag used by the United States Army, flies on national holidays and other special occasions. It's being carried by members of the UWVC Health and Wellness Program. And Mark, joining us here. You're waving at everyone there because they're all friends of yours. We were talking about the health and wellness program earlier. Why is that so important, health and wellness and supporting one another?
So the great thing about health and wellness is that it works on its own, or it can complement if you're doing already traditional therapy. So in my case, I actually was going through therapy with the VA for PTSD. At the same time, I was doing a holistic approach, and I learned about equine therapy, horseback riding. You get people out on sailboats, and half the crew knows how to sail, and the other half are the veterans. You're teaching them skills, and it's very therapeutic to just be out there on the water. The same thing with art therapy. You're using that creative part of your mind for an hour or so in a class, and you're getting away all that clutter that's out there. So
you get your mind on something else. You're learning something else, and you're making friends and losing yourself in the moment.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of cool.
So it's been going on for 5 years. It's been amazing to see. I mean, some of these veterans like go to tears when we're doing equine therapy with the horses. It's a beautiful thing to see, though, at the same time.
Mark, we're so lucky to have you join us, helping to host this parade. We're going to let you go and join some of the parade and say hello to a lot of your friends and catch up. But again, thank you for joining us. It's been an honor to be on with you again, and I hope to see you soon. We'll get you out there rucking again soon.
I will be out there. I'd love to be with the horses. We've done stories about them.
Yep.
It's just so therapeutic. Wonderful,
Maybe
Mark.
Dave
Thanks.
will get you out there, too.
I would love it. It would be an honor. It really would be, Mark. Such a pleasure.
Meaningful Veterans Day. Thank you.
You are watching, of course, the 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade. And if you're going to hashtag it as NYC Vets Day, you can join in on the fun on social media. We will be right back. Welcome back. We are on Fifth Avenue in New York City on the 2021 Veteran Day Parade.
This is all still part of United War Veterans Council health and wellness programs. We're out here on Fifth Avenue at 29th Street on this gorgeous Thursday, a beautiful Veterans Day that we are celebrating with you. This is the 106th Rescue Wing, our Grand Marshal's former unit, one of the military units deployed during the first days of the pandemic. Let's learn a bit more about their heroic efforts.
In March of 2020, before we knew it, it was like, whoa, what's going on? Where are all these patients coming from? Elmhurst Hospital in Queens.
We actually had vans here for the bodies because the morgue was overwhelmed.
Spiraled into the epicenter of the COVID outbreak. We were at war with this enemy that we did not know who this enemy was. We did not know how to kill this enemy. A battle that stressed their capacity.
Every part of the ER was being utilized. As I said, nothing else was coming in. And at that point, I think we realized we're in dire straits.
It was very chaotic. The entire hospital was filled with COVID patients and pretty much only COVID patients.
Staff Sergeant Brian Gravano deployed with 13 fellow members of the New York National Guard's 103rd Rescue Squadron of the 106th Rescue Wing. It was like, you know, hey, the cavalry's coming in to save the day. Working 12-hour shifts, proning patients.
If a patient has very bad COVID pneumonia, as we've learned in the past, by changing their body state so they lie in their belly, the lungs work better. But that requires somebody to do that.
The most memorable things for me was seeing different staff come from all over the country to back up the hospital. Different military units were taking charge of entire floors of patients.
6,394 New York National Guard troops and airmen deployed across the state at the height of the pandemic.
Which probably saved a hell of a lot of lives.
As Dr. Lieber walks the hallways today, they are no longer lined with COVID patients. The hospital is currently treating 8, but the haunting memories remain.
We all have breaking points. I have a lot of trainees who have a lot of PTSD from this to this day. I even have some attendings. I have some, you know.
When you think about it, it's, you get choked up, but at the same time also you're proud of what we did here. A spirit that fueled the Elmhurst Strong mantra in a fight that continues.
The military played a big role, traveling doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, our own staff, our administration. When everybody works together, we can accomplish things.
Mike Marza, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Coming back to live pictures on Fifth Avenue right now. This is UCLA Operation Mend, established in 2007 as a partnership between UCLA Health and the United States military. It provides advanced surgical and medical treatment, comprehensive psychological evaluation support, and an intensive treatment program for symptoms related to PTSD and traumatic brain injury for post-9/11 service members, veterans, and their families.
Another example of the fact that there are participants in this parade from across the country. And right now, we're looking at U.S. Marine Unit within 2 months of the attacks in September 11, 2001. Marines were the first major ground forces in Afghanistan focused on defending al-Qaeda. By mid-December, Marine forces had captured Kandahar Airport, creating one of the first coalition command centers. My niece is a lieutenant stationed in Japan, so I want to give her a shout out right now. Go Marines.
Thank you to her. Desert Storm combining precise air operations, tenacious amphibious assaults, grueling ground tactics to push back invading Iraqi forces. The Marines, in concert with UN forces, led in one of the most successful modern operations. Thank you to them. We are thinking about that today.
Semper Fidelis, Latin for always faithful, the motto of every Marine, eternal collective commitment, success of their battles, the progress of our nation, and the steadfast loyalty to the fellow Marines they fight alongside. Once a Marine, always Marine, right, Michelle?
That's it.
You know, they were established in 1883, and the motto distinguishes the bond developed and shared between the Marines. It goes beyond words that are spoken, as it is a warriorhood that is lived, I guess you could say. The few and the proud who make up today's ranks are comprised of men and women who have the resolve to fight and win for our nation's common cause.
In 1775, Captain Samuel Nicholas set up the first Marine Corps recruiting headquarters at Tun Tavern in Philadelphia, looking for, quote, a few good men. Crucial in securing victory over Japan in World War II. It was Marine Navajo Code talkers who provided the unbreakable code. Nobody could break that code, the Navajo Code, necessary to communicate on the battlefield effectively. No other country had any idea what that code was.
That is so true.
Amazing.
You know, it's interesting to me as we watch all of this and how important, you know, these kind of events are. The veteran population, it's expected to become more racially and ethnically diverse, with Latino veterans expected to double from 8% to 15%, and black veterans expected to increase from 13% to 15%.
Well, that's one of the reasons that so many companies want to hire them.
Yeah.
It's automatic leadership, discipline, skills, and diversity. We're talking about that. All right, talking about social media.
I know.
We've been posting all morning.
I know.
And this afternoon.
The hashtag, if you really want to do this, is hashtag, and you can see it right there, NYC Vets Day. And, of course, we are streaming also on ABC 7 NY. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
I have therefore directed General Norman Schwarzkopf to eject the Iraqi army from Kuwait.
Desert Shield, Desert Storm was the biggest single campaign since World War II.
There were 35 coalition partners involved in this. There were almost 700,000 troops.
Saddam Hussein had the fourth largest land army in the world.
They issued First Marine Division 10,000 body bags.
They had airplanes over the Iraqis 24 hours a day, every day.
Went through a series of air raids up their way, artillery up their way.
Well, it was imperative that the Iraqi forces were forced out, or Kuwait would not exist as a country.
We saw the Wounded Warrior Project heading up Fifth Avenue just moments ago, but now I am with Antoinette Wallace and Tyshawn Jenkins of the Wounded Warrior Project. How did you get involved in the organization?
So I actually was injured overseas in Iraq, and I suffered for the invisible wounds of war. I was inpatient at the VA for quite some time, and I found out about Wounded Warrior Project, and I'm very happy that I did, because it was something that I needed, that camaraderie again, and that's something that I really missed in the service.
And what was it like for you being a part of the Wounded Warrior Project?
It's honestly awesome. Their ability to just be able to help us regardless of where we're at in life. It's not for just people who may be missing a limb. The experience overall has been great.
And how did you get involved?
So I got involved. A friend of mine named Darajo Peterson told me about it, and I was thinking, oh, no, you have to be missing a limb or something of that nature. And he said, no, it's for everyone. So I came out to Veterans Day Parade. That was my first event, and from there, it's just been awesome.
And what does it mean to you today to be here on Veterans Day, a part of the Wounded Warriors?
So after a 2-year hiatus of not being able to see my friends and family that I feel I've met in the Wounded Warrior Project, this is so incredibly special to me. I really miss this. I miss seeing them and being around other veterans and celebrating them. So this means a lot to me.
And Tyshawn, how do you feel?
Honestly, I feel the same. Being able to be around people again, especially after the year that we've had, it's a special moment. I still currently serve, so it's that much more special to me as well.
Well, thank you for your service and, of course, for being here with us today. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Elise. And you are watching the 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade on ABC 7. In addition to watching today's broadcast on ABC 7, all the festivities are being streamed at nycvetsday.org.
Nothing like bagpipes. This is the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey Department. Numerous active duty and former military personnel in the police force. They were founded back in 1921, and this is their centennial anniversary to commemorate the anniversary. 55 mementos of the agency's 100 years of operation were placed inside a time capsule during a ceremony celebrating the centennial.
You know, there's so many branches represented in this parade. It's so wonderful. And it looks like it's the Navy's turns making the move up here at this point. I'm looking down to keep track of it here. But we got another marching band, and I gotta say, it's one better than the next one as you watch it come up.
I love it. I'm busy waving. Just busy waving. This is the Navy Band Northeast, U.S. Navy. Coming up next on 5th Avenue, we're at 29th Street on this Veterans Day.
They have a number of components, by the way, marching and ceremonial bands. They got something called Rhode Island Sound, top brass, crosswinds. All the units consist of smaller protocol ensembles. There's a solo pianist, a solo guitarist, jazz combo, and other musicians. All ensembles perform a wide range of music from patriotic, as you can hear right now, as well as classical, contemporary, big band swing, country, latest top 40 hits. You know, they're the Navy. They can do it. They can do it all.
I want to hear some top 40.
Let's listen in a little bit right now. Operational support base for 4 military Sea Lift Command combat logistics ships. There's the Arctic, the Perry, the McLean, the Evers, and they've come by workforce. I mean, this is an employable group here of over 1,500 civilian, military, and contractor personnel.
Again, you didn't know that vessel could travel up 5th Avenue, but that's what we're watching right now. Absolutely perfect.
They support 250 personnel and departments in their base housing. So it's a big group and a big part of Colesneck, New Jersey.
All right, as we're seeing this salute on 5th Avenue, we thank you for joining us on Veterans Day. We've got lots more to cover at this beautiful parade, beautiful day. We're coming right back.
Thank you for your noble sacrifice and brave service. Korean veterans, you are our heroes. We fought for freedom together, and we bled on the battlefield together. You will always remain in our hearts. God bless you, and thank you.
And welcome back to the 2021 Veterans Day Parade as we compete now with the bagpipes. I am honored now to be joined by Brigadier General George Rowell, the Director of Communications of the Marine Corps. Thank you for joining us, General. Forgive me, I'm an Army vet. Yep. Army vets, we're soldiers. Marines are Marines, though.
That's right.
Explain to our viewers what makes a Marine a Marine.
Yeah, well, that's a great question, and thanks for having me. So what we like to say generally is that you join the Army, no offense. You can join the Navy, you can join the Air Force, but you have to become a Marine. You have to earn that title, and you either do that through boot camp or through OCS. Once that title is earned, it becomes a common bond between every Marine, not only active, but veteran, as we see out here today, and those that have come before us.
Marines are a special breed. In fact, there's a saying, my father was a Rock Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. What's that about?
That's right. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Very common between the Marine Corps around the world. You carry the traditions, you carry the honor, you carry the sacrifice, and you carry the grit of all of the generations that came before you. So, for example, we're here on Veterans Day today, which is absolutely fantastic. Yesterday was the 246th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. We celebrate that in a large way because we do continue to think about those that came before us and celebrate our traditions.
Perfect segue. We're talking about when you come back and continue to. How do some of the qualities that Marines develop when they return home to their communities, how do they then benefit those communities?
A great question. So we do three things in the Marine Corps, right? We make Marines, we win battles, and then we return quality citizens to the communities. Those qualities that make Marines special, tenacity, perseverance, leadership, those are all valued in the communities around this world. And we heard today several people talk about how those qualities translate into civilian life, if you will, and how valued veterans are as members of communities, not only in industry, leadership, nonprofit, but around in every community around the world.
Well, thank you, General, for joining us. You have that brass on your chest to make an Army vet stand up straight. So thank you for joining us. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks.
Thank you, Stefan. Watching the American Legion march up right now, the 9/11 group from New York. We're also very excited now to welcome our second special co-host for the day. He spent 7 years in the U.S. Army as an active duty infantry officer and deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan during the global war on terror.
He is the current commissioner of the New York City Department of Veterans Services. We want to welcome James Herndon. Thanks so much for being here. COVID, the pandemic, what a challenge for everybody, but especially veterans. Can you talk a little bit about what you were doing for our veterans during the last 2 years? It's been crazy.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me, and happy Veterans Day to all who are intended who served. You know, the pandemic, you're right, was a challenge. We did what we could to rise to the occasion as far as focusing like a laser on issues involving food, employment, health care, and housing. So working with our veterans who are housing insecure to constantly find places for them to stay, leveraging different city, state, and federal programs for them. For food, having an ongoing food operation, not just the Get Food NYC program for the city, but also leveraging friendships with great foundations like the New York State Health Foundation and like the Bob Woodruff Foundation to put out more than 200,000 HelloFresh meal kits to veterans going back from the summer to the present and tying in heavily with Nourish New York, with the Farmers to Families Food Program for the USDA. And when we think about employment, just working to have our veterans obtain job opportunities through a site that was originally known as EmpireVets.com, but is now nyc.gov/VetConnectPro, where veterans can put their military occupational skill set into this portal, and it will come back and say, here are the jobs that make sense for you. Press this button if you'd like to apply. And by the way, we've got a good number of remote opportunities available and municipal opportunities.
You know, this is the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and it's something felt by so many, and particularly veterans. Talk to me a little bit about what some may be going through right now and how we as a community can help.
I think that this being the 20th anniversary, even for those who no longer wear the uniform but who once did, who did deploy. As you know, I was in Iraq in 2005. I was in Afghanistan 07 to 09. It's a moment of reflection for many veterans. And so what we do is make it a point to offer spaces for veterans to be able to talk with others and to be able to go through that healing process for those who still need to go through it. And one way that all can help and be a part of it, you know, we have a program that we use called Mission Vet Check, where we have buddy check calls. We've called more than 30,000 veterans in this city, where it's been mostly veteran callers, but also non-veterans, our allies, who reach out just to make sure folks are okay and to touch base with them. Things like that are of value to us. Another thing for our veterans is to not infantilize people and not look at them as though they are broken or as though there's a stigma that something is wrong, but just to make yourselves open as far as your heart and having an environment where people feel comfortable talking, be it at the dinner table if it's your family, be it at the in the workroom if it is someone who's a co-worker, be it in the faith center if it's someone within your religious community or other network you're part of. So just to open yourself up to having these discussions or making yourself vulnerable so a veteran can themselves be vulnerable to you. And whatever you do, we are not broken and we're not to be infantilized. We are just people going through different things, and we appreciate every single bit of support that comes from our allies and those who love us.
Great so advice. Important to talk about that humanity, and so many people have talked about that today, the camaraderie that they missed while serving is something they appreciate so much when they're on the other side of it, right?
Yep. Absolutely. James, stay with us. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to tell everybody right now that you're watching the 102nd New York City Veterans Day on Channel 7. We'll be right back. To the Veterans Day Parade live from New York City's 5th Avenue. It has just been a wonderful day to honor, a wonderful day to respect, and to show our support and to say thank you for your service. You know, military memorials and landmarks enable us to appreciate year-round the contributions our service members have made. These structures offer a permanent, everyday reminder of those who sacrificed their lives in service to their country this year.
New York City gained an historic first with its newest officially landmarked war memorial. Let's take a look.
10 hot. Considering the history of the Chinese community in New York, detailed, present arms. I think it's long overdue.
This salute to the war heroes of the past in front of Chinatown's Kim Lau War Memorial.
The Chinese American community served proudly.
Has an even deeper meaning this Veterans Day. New York City granted the monument landmark status in June, the city's first landmark dedicated to Chinese American history.
Very exciting. We've been working for quite a few years.
Members of the Kim Lau Chinese Memorial Post 1291 gifted the monument in 1961 with the renaming of Chatham Square to Kim Lau Square. The monument honors Lieutenant Benjamin Ralph Kim Lau, a Chinese-American bomber pilot from New York City who served during World War II. In 1944, he was ordered to bomb Japanese air bases north of Australia. It would be his final flight.
He flew his mission over the Pacific, New Guinea, and that's where he was shot down and killed. He was the first Chinese officer killed in action.
On the arch, it reads in memory of the Americans of Chinese ancestry who lost their lives in defense of freedom and democracy. It was intended to honor World War II veterans.
And a lot of them could not become citizens, and we fought for this country.
The arch has grown to represent all Chinese and other Asian Americans who have made the ultimate sacrifice for the United States. According to 2019 data from the Department of Defense, about 5% of active military men and women are Asians.
Sometimes we gloss over things in the history books. We barely get a mention.
Now a landmark preserving a piece of history for future generations. In Chinatown, Crystal Cranmore, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And back live to the parade route. And this is the Federation of French War Veterans, a veteran group who served in North Africa from 1956 to 1962.
Here to commemorate the armistice of World War I. They want to share the gratitude of France and the French people for the 2 million Americans who crossed the Atlantic in 1917 to fight the battles which made the armistice possible.
Right, it used to be Armistice Day, and then it was turned to Veterans Day, which it is now. You know, currently, there's 145 French veterans of the First and Second World Wars, Korea, Indochina, Algeria, other overseas theaters of operation. The Federation also keeps in touch with 40-plus widows, helping the families when they can. It participates in official ceremonies like this one with their band and color guard. You can hear a little bit of that right now. Why don't we listen in for just a second?
They also participate with the American Society of Le Souvenir Français, along with other historical organizations in building, maintaining, and renovating memorials. Who looks out for them? Well, their headquarters are in Manhattan, in New York.
Very awesome. It's just wonderful to see the wide diversity of participants in a parade like this. Again, no surprise when you realize this is the nation's largest Veterans Day parade. It's held here, right in New York City.
Comment ça va? Ça va bien.
See, that French really paid off for you.
There you go.
This is why my wife never lets me speak French. She stops me in my tracks.
Nice to see them. French flag flying right behind the American flag on Fifth Avenue on this Veterans Day. The French will never forget.org. They are here to say thank you and to be with us on this Veterans Day. So many countries united with the United States of America on this day for so many reasons.
When you look at this, what are your thoughts today? What does it feel like to be here?
It feels so special, especially taking in the richness and the diversity of it, as you mentioned. And it starts with what we're doing here in New York City, but it reverberates throughout the country and throughout the world as far as what so many people do when they put their hands up and they're willing to sacrifice any and everything to protect life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. So it's overwhelming when you think about this, when we keep saying that freedom is not free. These are the people who pay for it for us.
And we have so many wonderful programs here in the United States of America. You said one of them literally is just launched today. Could you talk about that a little bit more? You talked very quickly about it. I know people are like, whoa, let me get a pen and paper. But if people want to connect veterans with goods and services that we're all paying for, we want them to have the absolute best. What can they do to reach out?
Absolutely. That website is www.nyc.gov/VetConnectPro. It's nyc.gov/VetConnectPro. And what VetConnect Pro is, it's a digital employment tool for our veterans, where oftentimes there's difficulty translating that military operational skill set the veteran had with what is applicable in the civilian world. What's the best fit for you based on your military background? And so one would just enter whatever their identifier is, regardless what their branch is, along with any additional experience or any additional education, and then it comes back and says, here are the top jobs we think are best for you. Press here if you'd like for us to help you auto-populate, begin that application process. It not only includes jobs in the private sector, but also a wide array of public sector jobs with the city of New York. So for those looking to work in departments like sanitation, like PD, like fire, the groups that have marched in this parade today, this is a one-stop shop for our service members.
These are great jobs, great benefits. We appreciate you. We need you, and we'd like to hire you. James, thank you.
We are thrilled to be bringing you the 102nd Annual New York City Veterans Day Parade live on Channel 7. To the Veterans Day Parade live from New York City's Fifth Avenue here live on Channel 7, 102nd New York City Veterans Day Parade. And you know, the Walt Disney Company's Heroes Work Here program launched in 2012 as an initiative to hire, train, and support returning veterans. Only 6 years later, 10,000 veterans have joined the Disney family as valued employees, and thousands more have embarked upon rewarding careers elsewhere thanks to Disney's Free Veterans Institute workshops, which bring together experts who assist other companies in enhancing their ability to recruit, hire, and retain veterans and military spouses.
Through its Volunteers program, that's EARS, like Mickey Mouse ears, Disney employees have engaged in service projects with veterans organizations throughout the country, and Disney's philanthropic support of veteran and military organizations has exceeded $20 million in funding and media support since Heroes' work here began. ABC 7, along with our parent company Disney, is proud to be part of this ongoing commitment to veterans and their families, including serving as the host of today's Veterans Day Parade. We are so glad to be here. We are so glad that you are here with us.
Very awesome. As the parade continues, we're getting ready to see Columbia University School of General Studies coming up the way. They represent the undergraduate population of student veterans at Columbia University. My father went to Columbia University on a GI Bill. Wanted to be a journalist. Didn't quite make it, and I'm, I guess, following in his footsteps very proudly. But, you know, it was because of that GI Bill and his service in the Army that made that possible. Just a liberal arts college created specifically for returning and non-traditional students seeking a rigorous, traditional, Ivy League undergraduate degree, full or part-time.
School has been educating military veterans for more than 70 years.
You know, the Space Force was founded on December 20th, 2029. Speak about, you know, new things happening. This newest branch of our military protects U.S. and allied interests in space and provides space capabilities to the joint force. Let's go to Elise with a special guest who can tell us more. Elise.
Thanks, David. I'm here with Master Sergeant Vanessa Fisher of the U.S. Space Force. You're here representing the military's newest branch. What does your role entail?
My career field is cyber defense operations, so I maintain and troubleshoot networking systems.
Now, you were with the Air Force and went over to the Space Force. When was that, and why did you make that decision?
February 2021, just recently, I decided to be part of a historical event and bring up a new military branch.
And speaking of history, you are the first Guardian to represent the Space Force here at the New York City Veterans Day Parade. What does this moment mean to you?
I'm honestly honored and humbled to be a part of such a special event.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your service and joy today. Back to you.
Hey, Elise, thanks a lot. Just in time for my alma mater to be marching up, NYU, and my son, both of us graduates of New York University. This is the New York University Military Alliance, represents all student veterans and military-connected students at NYU. They build community through special events and programs to make sure veteran students are supported at the school. Marches include current students, alumni, administrators, and by the way, that NYU trolley is their parade vehicle because they're pretty cool.
Very cool.
Notice
with the purple.
Yeah.
Look at the purple.
And that's how you rock that.
I did a semester at NYU.
Did you? Oh, look at that.
Does that make me an alumna? I don't know. Maybe not.
You are my sister in all trouble is what you are.
Dip in, dip out. I like it. There you go. That's what I am. Big trouble
James,
right here.
just stay away from the two of us when we get like this, all right? It's for your own good.
Before becoming commissioner, I used to march with NYU, actually. I used to walk with them. Yeah, I used to run an incubator there for veteran entrepreneurs called the Veterans Future Lab. It's some great people, excellent organization as far as that military alliance.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Were you on the trolley?
I was walking.
You're walking. You're walking. All right.
This is the section of the parade where a lot of the schools are proudly marching up the Fifth Avenue. I'm looking behind me now, and I see Berkeley College is represented. And they talk proudly of their 90 years of service. And again, it's a lot of the same things that we just discussed with New York University. And again, another reminder of how all participants from across the country are here. Marches here at the Berkeley College represent the Department of Administration and the veteran students. Berkeley listed as principals of excellent institution with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
They've had a lot of recognitions for military and veteran programs. A lot of the students you see here proudly marching today in this parade, waving flags and holding flags. So we'd love to see that.
James, you got to get a thrill out of seeing the support on a day like this. You got to get a thrill of seeing people, again, we can't say enough thank you for your service, but this is a whole parade dedicated to thank you for your service.
I love the parade because it underscores that you can't do this alone. This isn't about just the service members operating in a silo or in any one particular service branch, but having to have, allies and others here who have not worn a uniform a day in their lives, but who understand and appreciate just what it means to really have words and deeds in particular, when we say thank you for your service.
What do you think means the most to veterans? I mean, what is the most important thing we can go up and say to a veteran? And you talked a little bit about not infantilizing veterans. Talk about that a little bit, if you would.
Well, I think that there's two different pieces of it. One of them is folks who haven't served will often look at a veteran and either assume that they are only good with machines and not people, that they are automatons of some sort. And that's a stereotype where there's studies that show that this is a bias that many have who've not served. And it's about trying to counteract that. Another piece of it is people just automatically assuming, oh, this person's a veteran, something must be wrong with them emotionally, and just jumping to certain conclusions which are not founded and are not correct.
James, thanks so much. As we watch the United Military Veterans of Kings County make their way up 5th Avenue, we're going to take another break here. And thank you for watching our 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade brought to you on ABC 7. We'll be right back.
On behalf of the state of Kuwait and the people of Kuwait, I would like to thank the United States of America and its military and veterans for the big efforts and sacrifice to liberate the state of Kuwait from the Iraqi invasion in 1991. I assure you that Kuwait and its people won't forget, and you will always remain special for us. Thank you again, and God bless you all.
Coming back to live pictures on 5th Avenue at the 2021 Veterans Day Parade. This is the Long Island Living History Association, part of a larger historical education organization consisting of active and former military service members as well as civilian military historians.
Yeah, they traditionally march in all kinds of different wars, from World War I soldiers in the parade, World War II contingent. They added that this year. It's the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II. But you can see, obviously, we just were looking at George Washington and the revolutionary team there. And now the Spirit of 45 group, a nonprofit, nonpartisan coalition of organization dedicated to preserving the legacy of men and women of the greatest generation, marching today to celebrate World War II veterans.
I think I'm not sure if we have a picture of this, but there's a statue on the truck captures the 3D picture of the famous Alfred Eisenstadt photograph of a sailor kissing a total stranger, thought to be a nurse or a dental hygienist in Times Square. Coming up soon on VJ Day in 1945, when everyone in America was celebrating the end of World War II.
Absolutely. It's just amazing. And just a walk through history. James, when you were growing up, were you in touch with the military history that really made our country? Or was that something you came to later in life?
It came to me growing up through my grandfathers, on my mother and my father's side, where my grandfather on my mother's side had served in the Navy and on my father's side had served in the Army during the Korea era. And so they say we don't recruit people, we recruit families in this line of work. And so just having it as a lived bit of history meant so much to me and just made me what I am today.
We want to illustrate now Black Veterans for Social Justice is marching. Established in 1979, Black Veterans for Social Justice, nonprofit, community-based organization, of course, servicing veterans, their families, members of the community. And they are a loud, happy group.
They're loud and smiling.
I think James knows a couple of them.
Just a few. Just a few. Just a few.
They provide program services to assist military personnel make a smooth transition from active duty to civilian life, dedicated to servicing military personnel, veterans, and their families in social readjustment, getting them into housing, jobs, compensation, disability, substance abuse, medical treatment, post-traumatic stress syndrome, family intervention, prison counseling, relocation in the community. Hey, there's the kiss.
That's the statue we were talking about before.
There's this kiss from Eisenstadt, so famous, so iconic. Just two people happy that the war was over and in an embrace and kissing.
Yeah. James, talk to me a little bit about the Black Veterans for Social Justice.
Well, since 1979, Black Veterans for Social Justice have worked hard to really move the needle for veterans on various issues, particularly things that involve, housing, that involve, justice-related matters within the veteran community, and expanding. First, it was just Black veterans helping within one particular community, but then really hemorrhaging out to all who are facing certain issues, and just to be there for them day in and day out. I can say since July of 2020, we've had an operation with BVSJ where every Wednesday we meet at the Campaign Against Hunger out at a site in East New York, and we prepare 2,000 meals that are delivered to members of the veteran community who are food insecure. And so they walk the walk, they talk the talk, do it all when it comes to being right by those who serve.
Gotcha. Hey, we got some Hummers coming up soon. You see this? Oh, you can't see yet. We got the Hummer Squad coming. Look at this.
Parade's not right. This is Veterans Day, so, their trucks are bigger and better and better than anybody else has got. And this is the New York Hummer Squad, nonprofit organization helping veterans after they leave the military to reintegrate into society.
Yeah, they're based in Brooklyn, New York. Hey! It's so good.
Those vehicles are so gigantic.
Very shiny with the blue and the silver. Fantastic.
It's just great because you deal with all kinds of vehicles. We've had the motorcycle teams coming through here. Yeah. We've had the genuine military vehicles coming through. Yes. It doesn't matter. It's just there's so many ways to show your support.
The Hummer's very quiet. They had a little bit of music.
Would you have preferred a little something?
I like a little. I'm dancing up here with James, man.
It's not like the motorcycle team that comes through,
yes,
right?
Sir.
You know they're there when they come by.
Coming through. I know. We couldn't hear each other think. Thank heaven we have these things.
They're a gentle group.
They are.
Yeah. But look at that. I'm telling you.
That's fantastic.
If you're into cars, you're really enjoying this.
What I love about this parade, it's just people bringing joy.
Again, you are watching the 102nd Annual Veterans Day Parade in ABC 7. Don't forget the hashtag, everybody NYC Vets Day. Be right back.
The dedication of the individual soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines were true to form.
Absolute admiration and gratitude for those who served.
The good Lord was looking out for us a little bit, but we also fought pretty smartly.
When it came down to it, we got a tyrant out of power, and that was the right thing to do.
When I think about Colin Powell as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the generals that served under him, I feel fortunate and blessed that we had such great leadership at the top.
We made it work. The Air Force made it work. The Army made it work. Schwarzkopf made it work.
I was so proud of them, and I am to this day.
And this is Alpha Gamma. We're looking at some of the sororities and the fraternities. We had seen Mu Beta Phi, Military Fraternity Incorporated. And back here on Fifth Avenue celebrating Veterans Day. This is a military sorority coming on the red carpet right now. Very loud.
Memphis, Tennessee, thank you very much. Again, from all over the country, James.
Psi Delta Tau, another fraternity we are thrilled to welcome.
Earlier there was Mu Beta Phi, military fraternity, that came through.
I love the dimensions of the military culture where it's so much deeper than just Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. You have so many subcultures here where we stay connected, where we continue to help one another, and we continue to do great things even when we take the uniform off. So it's so great to see these military sororities and fraternities here today.
So, and apparently they're kids. I love the children with the flags. This is fantastic. Start them early. There you go. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
We want to welcome you back to the 102nd New York City Veterans Day Parade. This is a great time for New York City. Obviously, we had the marathon parade, marathon before this last week, and this is just another step forward for the city as we try to bounce back from this pandemic. Last year, sadly, this parade could not be held because of it and health concerns, but they're back now. It's a smaller version for a lot of health reasons. I think around 25,000 participants was the estimate that I was hearing, but nonetheless, people back out and proud.
National Grid, you saw there just a moment ago, and now the Jericho Project joining us here on Fifth Avenue. But you're right, getting back to normal, celebrating life and one another.
And bringing it back to you here on
Yes.
ABC 7. How proud are we to be part of this?
It doesn't get better. Doesn't get better. I'm not sure which this group is, but I'm going to wave at them. Thank you. How are you?
So much pride.
We've kind of gone out of order, so we're...
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about this group. It's an organization which assists veterans in finding housing while homeless. They run supportive housing for veterans, assist with homeless prevention, benefits acquisition, employment opportunities, legal assistance. It's a lot of the stuff that James does with your group. It's so good that there's a number of them out there. And this point in particular is a 36-year-old nonprofit. It serves over 2,900 individuals, including over 700 veterans annually. And now I see we moved on, and this is a hospice group. I can't see.
MJHS Health System marching in the parade today.
Metropolitan Jewish Hospice Services, who has a very strong veterans contingent as far as helping our veterans who are, in that stage of life in hospice palliative care, and they are very strong as far as just working with our veterans. So many of our Korea era and our World War II veterans, even leading a network of hospice providers who work with veterans.
Anybody that works in hospice is an angel on the earth.
Yep,
it's just been they've made the difference in our lives. So when you talk about a group like that, it really hits home. This is so important.
We have a project where we've been archiving the histories of our veterans, the Veteran Voices Project, and they've been instrumental in helping us connect with these veterans who, before passing, can provide us with their oral history so we can archive them with the municipal archives.
Awesome.
And so, yeah.
Such a comfort to their families as they say goodbye, and to them. Really, what a great program.
And I know they passed by. I've got to call out the Jericho Project for the great work they do helping housing insecure veterans, too. We're all one team, one fight here, and Jericho's a key player in the mix, along with others who make up our continuum of care on veterans' homeless matters. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is the 5th year that T-Mobile has a valued sponsor of the Veterans Day Parade, with over 100 T-Mobile veteran employees and allies, including several members of their senior leadership team, marching today.
We're excited to have the president of Consumer Group from T-Mobile join us. Welcome, John Fryer. Hello, you made it.
I did. David, Michelle, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
John, you were fighting the traffic to get here, right? It was not easy to do.
It is not easy to do on a day like today when Fifth Avenue is closed for this parade.
I know, but you made it because that's the can-do attitude you have. T-Mobile's a corporate leader in supporting the careers of veterans and their families. So tell us more about what T-Mobile is doing towards that effort.
Yeah, we're so great to be here, David, Michelle. We brought, like you said, hundreds of our employees that are veterans all across the country to New York City. And for so many of them, it's their first trip to New York City. And, this city is so great. And, the citizens and the people of New York City have just have been so great to our employees that have come in. And what we've been on a mission to do is to hire 10,000 veterans and their military spouses over the next several years. We started this in 2018. We're more than halfway there. We've hired thousands in, and we just love giving back to the veteran community, supporting them, and giving them great opportunities here at T-Mobile.
As you know, the transition into civilian life can be really complicated for our veterans. What are some of the partnerships that you can talk about that have made the work that you do so possible?
Yeah, it is very complicated, and that's why we look for, certain leadership competencies that, veterans, they build these competencies and skill sets when they're in the military. And what we find at T-Mobile is that so many of them are transferable into our space. And, we got to, reach out to them and using organizations like Hiring Our Heroes or 4Block and reaching out to those particular areas. Because, think about this. When you look at veterans, there's about 19 million of them across the country. 70% of them say, hey, it's hard to get back into the civilian workforce, and when they do, they're typically underemployed. And so what we see is a big opportunity to reach out to them, to help build their skill sets and help to, apply their, learnings and experiences from the military back into a company like T-Mobile.
makes a difference, and obviously you see the benefit from doing that kind of work. John Fryer, President Consumer Group, T-Mobile, thanks so much. I'm so glad you were able to get here.
I know.
Yeah, thank you guys, and we just love being a part of this. This is our 5th year presenting, being a presenting sponsor of the New York City Parade, and we just love it. So thank you.
And thank you
for helping people and hiring them. It's fantastic, really beautiful. We're on 5th Avenue right now for the 102nd Veterans Day Parade. Fabulous to have you with us celebrating. We're coming right back with more coverage on ABC 7.
Welcome back to the 2021 New York City Veterans Day Parade on Channel 7. And as we near the end of this parade, we are proud to welcome the future of America's military. Just before the parade kicked off, Air Force Chief of Staff General C.Q. Brown Jr. swore in the next generation of servicemen and women who will serve in the United States Air Force.
And it's my distinct honor and pleasure to offer the oath of enlistment as you come into our United States Air Force. So if you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. You solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bear true faith and allegiance to the same. Obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulation and the Uniform Court of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations.
Coming back to fencing.
You never know what's going to break out
That's
here.
it. That's the Fencers Club, military veterans on guard.
Getting a nice demonstration of what they do there.
It's
so much fun.
fantastic.
It's just been a fun parade, Michelle. So many different things, so many ways to say thank you, and yet so entertaining. We had the bands, we had the fencing, and we had so much more. James, do you have a favorite part?
I just got emotional watching that enlistment ceremony. I got to tell you, everyone remembers where you do. When you're in the military, you remember where you were when you put your hand up and you swore to serve, protect, and defend this country. It changes your life. It's like crossing a certain line. And so to watch these young people do it, knowing we've got veterans here, you know, as old as they're over 100 to as young as 17, as far as folks who just signed up, a part of this effort, you know, this one team, one fight. It's moving when you look at it and take it in.
James, thank you so much for helping us out. James Hendon, Commissioner of New York City Department of Veterans Services.
Thank you so much, David Michelle. Thank you. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much. Let's send it down to Elise Zwick and Stefan Kim for some final thoughts.
Hi, guys. Well, so for me, the coolest part about being part of Veterans Day Parade is just being around with fellow veterans. I'm going to share a quick full circle moment I had here today. I'm going to date myself. So almost 20 years ago, when I was assigned to the 77th Quartermaster Company in Jersey City, shout out here, there was a friend of mine in that company. Then he was Sergeant David Monzone. Today, almost 20 years later, he's now an NYPD officer in a mounted unit, and I got to watch him kick off the parade on horseback.
Wow.
That was really cool, and I never thought I'd have that moment, but I think that's the coolest part about being part of this parade, just being around your fellow veterans.
Absolutely, and I just saw one of my fellow veterans. He was one of the first volunteers with me when I was Miss New York. We spoke at schools in the area and on Long Island together, and that was 11 years ago. And I see him every year at the parade, of course, but that moment when I caught his eye, he turned around, and it was just a great reunion. So it's amazing to be here with our fellow veterans. Thank you for your service, and I'm just so proud to be here and honoring service.
It was a lot of fun. Back to you guys.
Those are some great full circles right there. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Stefan.
You know,
so
it's
wonderful to hear that.
Been a wonderful day. Again, this parade marking the 20th anniversary of 9/11, start of the global war against terror, and also marking the 30th anniversary of Operation Desert Storm. But, of course, Veterans Day is for every war, every engagement, peace or not, or wartime. It doesn't matter. We're there for them in every way possible.
It's really been an honor to be with you today to celebrate Veterans Day here on Fifth Avenue in New York City, wrapping up the pandemic, we hope.
Yes.
And getting back to normal, celebrating life, celebrating one another.
In the end, it's a parade. It's a chance for us to, honor, support, thank our military men and women for their service. On behalf of the United War Veterans Council, Channel 7, and all of us here at 2021 New York City Veterans Day Parade, I want to thank you for joining us. Have a great day.